is a wonderful children's spot.
So what we're going to do today, when you're out in the community, right? When you're next year, when you're making appointments and having to find locations, you always have to be aware, right? So when we're walking through the community, what's our posture for walking?
This.
Okay. What about our chins? Where are they?
Chin up.
Where's the safest place to go back and forth across Main Street?
I need help here.
Okay. Who wants to help them?
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
The crosswalk.
Crosswalk.
The crosswalk.
You're right. So next year you'll be more independent and you'll have more choices to make.
I've got to teach my son a lesson. My name is Owen Susskind. I'll be graduating in a month. Then I'll be moving and living into an apartment of my own.
Coming back to New Disneyland, home alive. Mysterious Fortunes, Beauty and the Beast.
I'm home.
Hey, buddy! Oh, I just got back from the grocery store.
Oh, it's great.
What would you like for lunch?
Grilled ham and cheese. Excuse me, I need to find...
Your apples, right?
Okay.
Oh, and your sandwich is over there, bud.
Thanks. And I'll get 3 Chips Ahoy cookies.
Okay.
Got a big rite of passage coming with graduation.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna be out of school.
Now we can start thinking a little more about the future.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
A little nervous and a little exciting.
A little nervous and a little exciting.
I'm so glad you came back tonight. I might never have seen you.
Why?
Because I have to grow up tomorrow.
Grow up?
Tonight's my last night in the nursery.
But that means no more stories. No, I won't have it. Come on.
But where are we going?
To Neverland. I want him through. Take that! This smoke.
Come on, everybody.
Hurry, Michael.
Get those scary birds.
Daddy and Owen fighting with swords in the leaves.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Peter Pan, and you can.
Oh, I'm Captain Hook. You're Peter Pan. Okay, come on, man. You demon. Yeah.
There's a video we came across, and then once we found it, we couldn't stop watching it.
Oh, thank you, thank you. That's very chivalrous of you.
Now, in a way, it's just an unremarkable video, of a dad and a son playing. I'm chasing Owen around, he's chasing me around. He's Peter Pan, I'm Captain Hook.
Oh no!
At the time we shot it, I'm in my early 30s. I'm a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. And our life is taking shape just the way we'd want it.
We had 2 beautiful boys. We just had our second boy. We had a little tiny house, but it was just like our dream house.
You want to say hi to Mommy?
Hi, Mom. Hi, God.
You know, everything was falling into place.
But all of a sudden, at 3 years old, Owen vanishes.
Goodbye, Peter Pan.
Owen just started changing really fast. You know, he wasn't sleeping. That was the first thing. He'd be up in the middle of the night, and then he'd be up all night. His motor skills were deteriorating. And then his language processing broke down. He just started reciting this gibberish.
Bee. I'm not a bee.
It was hard for me to understand what people were saying. They were all garbled.
It's like we're looking for clues to a kidnapping. Someone kidnapped our son.
We went to the pediatrician, but he had no idea what he was looking at. He said, "You're out of my league."
So we go see the specialist. It's not a pediatrician's office like you're used to going to. It's one that has a special room with a window to observe children like guinea pigs. The doctor has Owen walk down a long hall from me to Cornelia. And I just want to say, you know, just walk like you used to walk. I'm whispering that to him. Okay, buddy, just walk like you know how to walk. And I let go of him. And he just weaves down the hall like someone walking with their eyes shut. And he gets to the end and Cornelia grabs his hand.
I remember literally just like holding him in a bear hug and just thinking, you know, I'm just gonna hold you so tight and love you so much that whatever is going on will go away.
The doctor says he has a pervasive developmental disorder. And she says the word autism.
It was devastating. It was completely devastating.
And after a few minutes, she says, some of the kids never get their speech back. They don't ever talk again. And we just look down at them. And then the kid playing on the rug, looking at his hands, and the doctor saying, so let me explain what autism is.
Look what we have here. What is this, Owen? Ma'am, what do you have here? I'm carrying my pig. Hey, what does this look like? Oh, let's get this away. All right. We need to stop sillies. And we need Owen.
I first met Owen when he was 3 years old. At that point, I think that Ron and Cornelia were devastated. I think that it shattered their ideal vision of who this child is going to become. The image of autism in the early 1990s was not terribly flattering. So they're looking for any glimmer of hope that there are other possibilities out there besides an adult that will be forever dependent. The child with autism is easily overstimulated. They don't filter the constant stimuli that come in on a daily basis.
This world is just too intense for their brains. And that's always what I felt about Owen, especially when he was a tiny baby. You know, the vacuum cleaner would go on, the visual stimulation, the auditory stimulation. So imagine how difficult it would be to just do the simplest things if you have this constant noise in your brain.
When your child goes into their adult living, they've also been in an environment where the adults have been telling them a lot. So now it's going to be your turn in a couple of months to start you telling things about what you want to do and what you know, what you're comfortable with, what you don't want to do, what you do want to do. So a lot of those choices that maybe you only had one or two choices here, now you're going to have lots of choices.
I have some concerns as far as safety. Owen tends to walk with his chin down and plow ahead, like when he comes out between cars in a parking lot or going across the street.
Yeah.
Hey, Owen, what would you say is your greatest concern about next year?
That I have to do stuff on my own.
That's a concern?
Yeah.
To change, right?
To
So it's
change.
gonna be
But is it worth it not having a staff live with you?
A little bit.
Yeah, you bet.
Hold on to it easy.
How do you feel?
Looks like a little nervous. Because it's a new thing for me. Doing my own things on my own.
Yeah, this is the big step. This is your step through the adult door. Now you're no different than me, so you kind of... all these decisions are gonna be you.
They're gonna be for me.
You gotta remember, even though it might seem like you're kind of on your own and there's no dorm counselor,
Yeah.
we're still just a call away, right?
Right.
Pretty excited what's gonna happen for you, bud.
Yeah.
You got a lot more chapters to
A
write.
lot more chapters to write. Need the tosser.
Watch how I'm doing it. If you hold it in your hand
Yeah.
like this. Gus, over there.
Good boy.
Good boy, come on.
Good boy. Come on, Gus. Fetch Gus. Fetch Gus.
Where is it, Gus?
There's Mommy and O.
We're about a year along into his silence. The only thing we seem to be able to do as a family is the one thing Owen and Walter liked to do before the onset of the autism. They loved to watch the Disney animated movies.
We realized that was the only thing that was keeping Owen calm and making him happy. And so Owen and his older brother Walter would watch these together.
I didn't know what autism was, I just knew that autism made Owen the way he is. So autism kind of just meant different, drastically different. So Disney was my chance to have Owen really light up around me and something we can come together over.
So one day we're up in the bedroom. We're watching The Little Mermaid.
And you know, Owen would be speaking sort of gibberish, and he had been saying juicer voice, juicer voice, juicer voice.
He's murmuring something called, he's saying juicer voice, juicer voice. Now Cornelia thinks he wants more juice. She gives him the sippy cup, he doesn't want it, he knocks it over. Gibberish. Owen's watching the part where Ariel, the mermaid, has to trade something to become human.
Go ahead. Make your choice. I'm a very busy woman, and I haven't got all day. It won't cost much. Just your voice.
Owen rewinds. Well, it's like, Owen, just watch the movie. Owen rewinds a second time. Third time, Cornelia grabs me and says, it's not juice. I said, what? It's not juice, it's just.
Just your voice.
I grab Owen and I say, just your voice. And he says, juicervos, juicervos, juice. It's the first time he looks at me in a year. Of course, we read every possible meaning into the fact he picks those three words. Just your voice. Silent child. The first thing he says. He's still in there. He's still in there. We go and see a doctor and we tell him about our amazing juicervos moment. And he's like, well, let me explain this to you. This is, you better sit down. I know you're very pumped up here, but this is called echolalia.
This isn't like a breakthrough, you know, it's echolalia, which is just the repeating of language that they hear.
And I say, like a parrot? And he's like, well, kinda, yeah. Is it possible he knows what he's saying? And the doctor says, maybe, but there's no way of knowing. And the thinking is probably not. At that point, Cornelia and I were set on a rescue mission to get inside this prison of autism and pull him out.
Okay, listen up. As soon as everyone gets here, we'll begin.
Hey, Owen?
Yeah?
Can I just recommend that instead of saying listen up, you say may I have your attention?
May I have your attention, please. When everyone gets here, we'll begin. I started a Disney club so I can get to know more people and they can be around me, so I can be more popular. Shannon? It worked. Tonight we're watching some of The Lion King because this year's the big 20th anniversary of the original release of The Lion King. Yeah, sure. Shall we?
Not only am I a big Disney fanatic, but I also like to play magical movie scores on this piano.
Yay! We watch parts of Disney animated films and discuss them and see what they're really about in our lives.
That's not my father. It's just my reflection.
No.
Look hard.
Look. See?
You see? He lives in you. I'm not who I used to be.
Remember who you are. You are my son. And the one true king.
No! Please! Don't leave me! Father! Don't leave me.
Okay. What was Mufasa teaching Simba? Jessica?
They're teaching us that there's more to you than you ever would see.
And more than meets the eye, right?
More than meets the eye.
Their parents are teaching you how, when you grow up, to be on your own and how to learn how to live on your own.
Yeah, it's important that when our parents no longer can help us, that we have to figure things out by ourselves.
Yeah, sure.
4 years have passed since our Juicerfos moment. Owen has said almost nothing but gibberish since then. We're beginning to give up hope. So on Walt's 9th birthday, he's in the backyard with his buddies. Party ends, the kids leave, and Walt gets a little weepy, a little emotional. And then Owen follows us into the kitchen, looking expectant, like he's looking at the two of us. He stands there, stock still, like something's bubbling up. And he says, Walter doesn't want to grow up like Mowgli or Peter Pan. And off he runs.
I was like, what the hell just happened? Did Owen just say Walter doesn't want to grow up like Peter Pan or Mowgli?
Peter Pan doesn't want to grow up because he wants to stay a boy and be in Neverland.
Once you're grown up, you can never come back. Never!
I felt the same way that Walter felt when he was 9 at teeny tiny bits. When you grow up, you lose all your magical, enchanted childhood times.
This wasn't just a sentence. This was a complex sentence of a complex thought. Of something that we didn't even see. And all of a sudden it became clear to us. He's using these movies to make sense of the world he actually is living in, our world.
But I said to Ron, you know, we gotta try and figure out if we can have him talk to us at all.
So I go up to his room. I see Owen on the bed, flipping through a Disney book. And I see, sort of over to my left, I see Iago, the puppet. Now Iago is the evil sidekick to the villain Jafar from Aladdin. Now I know Owen loves his puppet.
Jafar! Jafar! Get a grip!
I grab the puppet, I pull it up to my elbow, and I begin to crawl across the rug as quietly as I can. And Owen turns to the puppet like he's bumping into an old friend. I say to him,
Owen, how does it feel to be you?
And I said, not good, because I don't have any friends.
Now I'm under the bedspread, and I just bite down hard. You know, I just say to myself, stay in character.
And I said, okay. Owen, when did you and I become such good friends?
And he said, when I watched Aladdin, you made me laugh. And then we talk, Owen and Iago, for a minute and a half. It's the first conversation we've ever had. And then all of a sudden, I hear him say,
I love the way your foul little mind works.
That's the next line of dialogue. That's Jafar, the villain, to his evil sidekick, Iago.
I love the way your foul little mind works.
And then I run down and grab Cornelia. I'm like, he's memorized all the movies. I mean, he's memorized them all. If you throw him a line of dialogue, he'll throw you back the next line. And at that point, it was like a window opened, like a light went on. And we began to speak to him in Disney dialogue, the whole family.